So Zane, do you know how many Batman we've actually had?
We have 9.
9 Batman, and not including
Yes.
all the cartoons and everything we've had.
Cinematic Batman.
Yeah, so all the Batman. So out of all the animated
Sure.
Batman, cinematic Batman, I thought today we would talk about who we think is the best Batman.
Oh, that's easy. I know who the best Batman is.
Do you?
Oh,
Do
of
you?
course. And I'm right.
Oh.
You're wrong. I'm right.
Yeah. So let's talk about it
Let's talk about it.
right after this.
Welcome to Whiskey Pop. I am Zane.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm overly excited.
That's good because we're talking about
Whiskey. Wait, I mean
Batman.
Batman. No, we are talking about Batman. The
And
Caped
whiskey.
Crusader and Whiskey.
And Whiskey and Batman. This is like
Will Wheaton. Whiskey. No, we're talking about Whiskey and Batman. That's what we're going to do.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
You know, some people have complained that you guys should do some deep dives once in a while. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, we're ready to dive in and go deep.
We're just going to talk about Batman today.
That's right. Everything is Batmania.
But before we do that, nothing goes better with Batman than a whiskey that's named after the sea.
The Sea. And this one is Have?
That's right. It's a high coast have.
So,
Ready to do this?
I am. I'm smelling. I mean, you do smell like a peat eaters almost. Do that, right? Come on.
Oh, there's a little bit of peat, but it's not a strong peat.
No. But there's some beauty in there.
No, this is a Swedish.
Why am I talking like this? Because we're going to talk about Batman.
Batman. No, this is funny. This is a Swedish whiskey, right? When I was reading this bottle, it said the whiskey is crafted on the beautiful riverbanks of the Angerribbefuggen
I'm saying that of
virgin oak cask. So, Angerribbefuggen.
Yeah, no, it's well, like I'm supposed to know where this is, but
Somewhere in Sweden.
that's stinking cool.
Let's
Okay,
try this. Let's go in there. Oh, wow. There's something interesting happening right there on the back end of that. You notice that?
Yeesh.
If you want to know what that is, check us later this week,
On second pour,
which will come out on Friday.
It will be Friday. Yeah,
Which, this is pretty good.
I'm not telling anybody if I think it's good or not.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we're talking Batman, but more specifically, there's that age-old conversation that we've been having. Who's the better Batman?
Okay, so Justice League Snyder Cut came out a couple weeks ago.
It was
Okay.
amazing.
And so, and you know, you and I have grown up with the Bat.
Oh, of
in
course.
different forms of the Batman.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what? Now's about the time to have a conversation because Batman's pretty hot right now based on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
On top of that, we got a new Batman movie coming out next year.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it feels like there's always a new Batman thing going, right?
Right. And so, you know, Batman, when he was his origin as far as with DC Comics was they're called DC Comics
Detective.
because it's Detective Comics. He was a detective gumshoe type character that just so happened to
Has some neat tools.
and yeah, did his vigilantism as it were.
But now Batman is more of this guy who hides in the shadows and then pretty much takes you out on a moment's notice. And actually, Batman used to not kill anybody, and nowadays he tends to
Yeah, they've taken it to a new level with what they've
be a
done.
little more violent than he used to
Yeah,
be.
because it's like now we're getting for the first time the jaded, complete life of fighting crime type character.
Well, it's like in the Batman movie that Christopher Nolan did where it says you live long enough, you become the villain.
Yeah, so I thought that's actually really good.
Yeah, it's a realistic version of Batman,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so to talk about Batman and the countless number of films that he's been in,
Right.
animated films, I figured we'd start with the top, which I didn't realize this till I started doing some research. There's been a few Batman before Adam West.
How many did I kill?
7.
there were only 4 of the ruffians.
You killed 3 of them twice.
43 serial.
43. Nobody remembers that one so much as they didn't see the.
We weren't live.
Well, I mean, obviously they didn't remember it.
Lewis G. Wilson, right?
We watched syndicated stuff or whatever programs.
I don't think I've ever even seen the serials of this.
I have no clue. None.
So he played this version of Batman, which they said his body type was closer to the Penguin. And I actually saw a photo I'll include it here. He looks like he's wearing the top of the underwear up here.
Oh my
So the
gosh.
utility belt's like right here.
That's crazy.
So then later they hired another guy to do it, and they did the first Batman and Robin movie.
Now that's the Lowry guy, correct?
And that was Robert Lowry.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, you and I know jack shit
Oh,
about these two Batman.
Jack and shit. We're gonna pretend. And you know what else I know? Nothing.
But yeah, so I mean, we didn't watch any of that stuff.
No, we did not.
And I was too old. The serial for Superman was like way over by the time. I think I've seen a few episodes of that. There's no way I'd ever saw.
His name was Reeves too.
His name was Steve Reeves, right?
Steve Reeves. Yeah,
I think
he's a
it was
strong
Steve
man.
Reeves.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, that's not the deep dive we're going on.
But we're talking about Batman today.
1960s is where we begin the story.
So 1966, we get the Batman and Batman movie, which starred Adam West.
Adam West. Batman 1966. Oh, you mean
West.
Adam West. Adam West.
Adam West, to me, growing up.
Yeah.
He's the epitome of Batman for me. I mean, campy as it was.
Strange. No answer. I wonder.
What is it, Batman?
Something that guard said.
All he said was that the museum was burglar-proof.
Yes, but then he added something else. He said no one could break into it.
Holy stuffy!
Exactly, Robin.
There was something cool. You know, I never really thought about it till I got older that even the mask was two-colored. It was like blue and purple, right?
Yeah, right.
There's
is.
no purple
it
in
has
Batman.
and there's the stitching issues.
Yeah, around the front.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he had the gray suit. But to me, that was Batman. I mean, I grew up watching syndicated versions
Now,
of that show.
I told you I didn't see any of those until
you were a teenager,
until
right?
I was a teenager, and I actually saw that movie.
Oh, wow.
It was the movie that
movie's
introduced me
horrible.
to Adam West.
The one thing I always remember about the Batman series, other than the bing bang pop stuff, right?
Yeah,
and the campiness was like anytime they were climbing the buildings, right?
Yeah.
I've seen like back photos and videos now where it was actually on a stage and they were walking hunched over.
Oh.
And they were pulling a rope.
Movie magic.
And so like people would come out of the floor, which would be a window, and talk to them when they were coming through.
Chum, it needs us.
Hey, Batman and Robin. What are you guys doing?
Just routine crime fighting.
Well, would you like to come inside? I'm rehearsing.
Thank you, citizen, but our pursuit of justice allows us few diversions.
Oh,
Be seeing you.
hi, Robin.
And it was all done on a floor, and then they would flip the camera and make it look. I thought that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'd love to do a shot like that sometime, just for kicks and giggles.
Well, who knows? Maybe we will.
Now, in 1989,
things changed.
things changed drastically for Batman in the live-action format because we got that guy from Mr. Mom, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But we got
Michael Keaton.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
And
Michael
he
Keaton.
is, I'm Batman.
He's Batman.
I mean, that changed. That was the Frank Miller Batman, right? The closest Frank Miller Batman we had seen.
They had based it on the Frank Miller comic book series, and obviously, skipping ahead, until Affleck's Batman, we haven't seen. Did I say Affleck?
Affleck.
Until old Ben, let's face it that way, his Batman, we have. That was what the Michael Keaton's Batman was based around, was that gritty, dark style for Batman, as opposed to the Biff Bam Bop, lighthearted.
That's right. And then on top of that, so I had heard, so the studio pushed way against wanting Michael Keaton to be Batman. You're talking this guy was a comedian, right?
Right, exactly.
Never done anything
He's a funny
serious.
guy. Why would you?
And when they finally cast him, WB actually got 50,000 hate mail letters telling people to get rid of him as Batman.
That is.
So what's that sound like?
Cancel culture!
It sounds like today, right? The fans are like, there's no way he could be Batman.
Robert Pattinson! Sparkly boy!
I had to break it to anybody back then, but he's fucking Batman.
He's Batman.
So then then Joel Schumacher was handed the reins of Batman.
And then we get interesting things like Val Kilmer.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.
And so we got the Batman tits.
Yeah, and the butt shots.
We also got our first Robin since the 1960s.
Yeah, we did.
We got Chris O'Donnell. You know, I heard.
Look it. Right now, look it. That's all you had to know to be Chris O'Donnell. Look it.
You know, the funny thing about that is I had heard recently a certain other Batman actually tried out for the part for that movie.
Murder me! Let me guess.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Christian Bale tried out for Robin. He doesn't talk about that much.
Is that why he was like, there's not going to be a Robin in my show?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly the reason why.
His butt was burnt and his ass was chapped.
Now, Val Kilmer was Batman. He was supposed to be Batman more than once.
Yeah.
But after he had finished shooting Batman, the first time he went and did The Saint,
yeah, right.
came back and realized he did not going to have enough time. And he didn't want to just jump right into another movie. On top of that, he found out that people tended to like Batman more than the actor. Go figure, it's a Batman movie. We're not coming there to watch Val Kilmer.
No, it's about...
So then George Clooney got the gig. And that's when we got that horrible Batman Forever movie.
Oh,
no, Batman and Robin movie.
The Batman and Robin.
You get the ice, I'll get the ice man.
That was horrible. That's not Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Freeze!
You know, George Clooney said he actually never worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger that whole movie. All those scenes were shot not together. I mean, he never even worked with him.
That would be disappointing.
I mean, you imagine you get to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger and you find out that he's not even going to be there. He's doing all his lines somewhere else.
That's, well,
It's
that's the magic of Hollywood, man. They can make everything
That's
stitch
right.
together,
So, I mean, so George Clooney said that's the movie he regrets the most. It's just a bad movie. He said all the way around.
Yeah, bad movie. But then after that, well, then we get, you know, His Highness Christian Bale.
Taste of your medicine, doctor.
Christian Bale's a jerk. I mean, he's a spoiled brat kid from that movie?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get spoiled.
Are you saying Empire of the Sun?
Empire of the Sun. Yeah, he's like, he was a spoiled, bratty child actor, and he always has been. Thinks he's better than he really is.
I mean, but, you know, he did lay a groundwork, and here's what these arguments are going to end up coming to.
That's true.
He was the introduction to a lot of people to Batman for the first time.
So the new generation of Batman,
That's right.
Because everybody had known Batman was the 90s Batman. Most of those kids that were born then weren't even old enough to remember that Batman.
Yeah.
So we were like coming from it's kind of like the Michael Keaton Batman to this guy.
Yeah, right.
And it was kind of like how we were Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman to Henry Cavill.
Right.
Same kind of deal. So I think you're right. Now there tends to be a lot of people who say these are the best Batman movies ever made. Is this the best Batman ever made? We'll get to that. We'll talk that later. So, but you know, Christian Bale. So he said he auditioned in Val Kilmer's suit in that movie,
and that
says a lot, right? That means he wore the tit suit.
He wore well. Now, George. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, it was just became more prominent.
What do you mean?
In the Clooney outfit, it became even more. But
what do you mean? Murder me!
So that takes us to Ben Affleck.
So that does take us to Ben Affleck, who is now currently the current Batman.
Well, here I am.
Yeah, and I will be full disclosure. I was like, seriously, Ben Affleck?
I mean, yeah, I just couldn't see it.
I was just, what the hell? So let's deep dive.
Okay, let's deep dive.
Name what is it? Your two?
My two, honestly,
Okay.
it still comes down for me that the best two Batman is Michael Keaton. Because, I mean, that's what I grew up with. And Batman Michael Keaton at the time was the closest to The Dark Knight.
Sure.
And I love Tim Burton stuff. And I mean, it's got that badass Danny Elfman soundtrack.
So who's your number two physical on-screen presence Batman?
It's Adam West.
Adam West.
Now, see, maybe I'm old.
Yeah.
Maybe I've gotten old. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a bit of comfort when I watch that Batman. I definitely
Yeah,
couldn't.
there's something to that.
I definitely couldn't put down Christian Bale because Christian Bale's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Michael Keaton was the first guy who actually changed Batman's voice when he was in the Batsuit. Nobody had ever done that before. Everybody just played their own voice. Michael Keaton was the first one who actually lowered his voice to be Batman.
Well,
So Christian Bale didn't come up with that by himself.
So, okay. So what we got to do here is I need to tell my two.
Let's hear them.
And then we can just jump into why we really think that's the case.
So what's your two?
Okay. But my two live action, there's only one Batman.
Oh, really?
And it's Michael Mother-loving Keaton.
It's Michael motherfucking Keaton.
Now my number two is Ben Affleck.
I can see that.
That story arc, and to me it's because it's a mirage of the Frank Miller comic books. And what I liked about Michael Keaton, I'm actually getting a more realized version with Ben Affleck.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So the Frank Miller Batman is way over the top.
Yeah. Oh.
So
yes.
you can't bring that version. You can't bring that version of Batman into play because nobody would connect to it.
Sure.
And I think you're right. I think Ben Affleck does bring a human side of Batman that people still can connect to.
So I've got those things. So here's my beginning theories.
Okay.
If you're gonna play Batman in the suit, all right,
Mm-hmm.
you need one thing. This is horrible. You gotta have a pretty mouth.
I'm sorry. I can't believe this. I've imagined this moment since I first saw you. Your eyes, your lips.
Look,
I'm Batman.
Look, you gotta have a decent Cupid's bow on your lips, and you gotta have this right way that you can purse your lips or something. Because without that, if you're just like a thin-lipped person or something along these lines, it just doesn't work.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, that would never work, you know. And so, you see these the castings of what they've done. It's these really prominent, featured.
Yeah.
Cast.
I think what we should do is we're gonna put on the screen the lower half of every Batman and see if our viewers can list by the numbers which Batman is which one.
That sounds awesome.
That would be funny, right?
Yeah.
And we're not gonna put them in costume. We're just gonna do the actors. They're lower.
Yeah,
they're lower. So that way,
lowers.
there's no easy telling that's Batman
Yeah,
costume. No,
yeah.
it's gonna be the actors, just their lower mouth. You tell us which Batman they are and who they are.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's like so. Michael Keaton is always Batman. For God's sakes, he showed up to the college as a speaker, and the last thing he
I'm
said
leaving you with two words.
Yeah, and those two words are?
If I leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with these two words. And those two words are, I'm Batman.
I'm
Batman.
It's because, look,
he's Batman.
Yeah, a lot of people want to argue the Christian Bale point.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion that the movies were good, but they liked the villain in the movie more than they really liked the Bat himself, and they were just in love with, I feel like, what was available for technology and showing his little goodies more so than even that acting of the Batman.
Christian Bale actually found it as a competition to be a better actor than Heath Ledger in that movie. I'm like, there's no way he didn't win. Heath Ledger by far is the main character in The Dark Knight.
You know, now that would be another deep dive to argue the point of which is the better Joker.
Yeah.
But there is no doubt that without that second movie and Heath Ledger's performance, that this current Batman would have nowhere near the fandom. It takes me to going to talk about Ben Affleck. I like the gritty and the completely jaded Batman. Because think about it.
Yeah.
I'm a comic book nerd, right? You know? I got to see the aftermath of the Killing Joke, basically, with these movies.
And they made that very clear that this is after the Killing Joke. I mean, it's the Killing Joke Robin stuck that he has on display.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman's got a serious fucking problem.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, why don't you just go ahead and put his mom and his dad up for display in there too? I mean, because that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, he's got that Robin suit.
That's creepy.
On display.
So, I mean, but I can see how people would like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think there's this thing about Batman, I think we're going to have a conversation about soon, is why people love villains so much. Because I really think there's an entire generation that, let's say after 2002, have always been in this dark place.
Sure.
And so they're attracted to dark things. So the darker version of Batman tends to be what people lean toward.
Yeah. Do we have a fascination with villains?
I think we have a serious villain fascination problem.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, we're rooting for Venom.
Come on, that was Tom Hardy. That's a great movie.
You can't root for Venom. We're rooting for Harley Quinn. So I mean, it's getting to a point where we're rooting more for the villain than we are the hero anymore.
Yeah, sure as hell wasn't Deadshot.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't. So I mean, I think in the end, it's going to be really hard for us to settle
the best Batman.
Who the best Batman is? I mean. Is Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
I think we can agree Michael Keaton on our end is the best Batman.
However, I will say this is what's cool is this story arc is just continuing to keep going by them reinventing the Bat, and it's working.
And we've had more Batman movies than Superman movies.
Oh yeah.
And people talk about how much they love Superman, but Batman has proven to be the one everybody really digs.
It's a lot harder to fill his shoes. I think
you're right. So Batman, you just got to have a pretty chin. It's a good set of lips.
Yeah.
But Superman, you got to be the whole package, man. You can't just come in there half-assing that.
Nah.
You can't just replace Superman with some other star just because they're popular right now.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on my Superman. So listen, Henry Cavill Superman, quit jacking with that crap DC, for God's sakes, trying to change Superman.
Jim Lee, I'm talking to you.
Jim, you know better.
You know better. Go talk to WB.
So in the meantime, if we missed a Batman that you think should be the Batman, so you think Christian Bale is better?
Let us know why. And I think the interesting side is a lot of our points are the same, just for the different dudes.
I think so. I mean, I don't think people are going to line up and say Adam West is their favorite Batman, though. So that's just a problem I've got, I guess, by myself. So I'm in a small room all by myself with Adam West. In the meantime, you guys continue to be geeky, and we'll see you next week for an episode of Whiskey Pop.
Cheers.
Cheers.